Why did the Australian government reject Qatar Airways' request to run more flights into the country? It's the question everyone's been asking, and it's such a hot topic that it's been given the prize reserved only for the hottest of political potatoes, a Senate inquiry. Now, as for answers, the Transport Minister, Catherine King, has given a few. Well, they're kind of answers. It's tough to follow, so I'll take you through it now. Now, on July 18, King confirmed her decision that she was going to block Qatar's request. So that's when we first learned about all of this. Now, just over a week later, King offered the first, reason for why she came to that decision: reducing emissions. Now, she said, quote, "I want more capacity for people to be able to enjoy travel, but equally, I want to be able to decarbonise the transport sector." Now, decarbonising the transport sector, on the face of it, sounds great. But the government has also said that Qatar could have those extra flights at once immediately, so long as it flies into non-major cities where it already has permission. So that wouldn't so much achieve decarbonisation as spread the same amount of carbonisation across a slightly wider area. Now, on the same day, King also said she wouldn't link her decision with the Doha airport incident. So what's the Doha airport incident? In October 2020, flights were grounded and scores of female passengers were escorted off planes at gunpoint, with some subjected to invasive examinations without consent after authorities found an abandoned newborn in an airport bathroom. Now, 5 Australian women who experienced that are now suing Qatar Airways and its subsidiaries over what happened. So that's the Doha airport incident. Now, where were we? On August 3rd, Catherine King gave Guardian Australia another reason for the refusal: that granting Qatar's request would have gone against Australia's national interest. It was certainly a reason, just not a very clear one. Now, during question time on August 9, King tried to get a bit more specific.
In determining what our national interest is, we have to consider a broad range of factors, and not one factor led to this particular decision. The government has determined that agreeing to the Qatar Civil Aviation Authority request for additional services is not in our national interest, and we will always consider the need to ensure that there are long-term, well-paid, secure jobs by Australians in the aviation sector when we are making this decision.
Giving another, solid-sounding reason, much like decarbonisation, most people like the sound of more Australian jobs. Though King's critics would point out that if she really wanted to secure Australian jobs, well, there's a large Australian airline that not too long ago slashed thousands of those. The mysterious national interest was further teased out by King a week later, where she said the deal wasn't in Australia's national interest because Qatar Airways is owned by the Qatari government. She also mentioned that Qantas is buying expensive new planes. So was she suggesting Qantas had something to do with the decision? Well, then the Assistant Treasurer piped up. In the wake of Qantas posting a record profit, while airfares were also sky high, Stephen Jones told the Australian Financial Review that the government wants to drive the cost of tickets down, just not in a way that destroys the industry over the medium and long term. Basically saying that letting Qatar fly more planes would have been one such destructive tactic. Now, Jones later said his comments had been misconstrued, that the government wasn't protecting Qantas, but he also said that it was completely uncontroversial for a government to want a profitable local airline industry. And besides, he also said he had nothing to do with the decision. It wasn't made by Cabinet, after all, only by Catherine King. Now, on the morning of September 7, the Doha incident came up again. Remember the thing that King had said wasn't linked with her decision? Well, this time, she said it was a factor, but that it wasn't the factor, just that it provided context for her decision. Now, what exactly is context? Well, that evening, King was asked about it on ABC's 7:30.
It provides context for the decision. This is something that happened. We can't pretend it didn't happen, and I can't pretend I don't know about it.
And you can't pretend that it doesn't influence your decision in some way?
Well, certainly it provides context, and I think you can read what you want into that.
Now, we could keep reading what we want into things here, but as King keeps dodging fronting up with a clear reason, it's only making everyone more curious as to what is behind all of this.